Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am going to be talking about hurdles. Before I start, I just want to say thank you for your continued support on this channel. It does mean a lot to me, a lot. Um, and I don't know how I could put that into words, but I didn't expect anyone to ever watch these videos as much as I'm seeing people watch them. Um, and yeah, I just want you guys to know it does mean a lot to me. Even if it's just family, it doesn't mean any less. Because I do appreciate you all, family or not, watching this video. It's very nice to know that um, you give me the time of day sometimes. Um, so yeah, keep checking in, and I'll be here. Anyways, back to what I wanted to say. I want to talk about hurdles today, and I know that might seem like something strange to talk about, but the reason I want to talk about it is because it kind of segues into something else. So the way I'm going to start talking about hurdles is through track. A lot of the people I've talked to or known on the track team have had the commonality that the majority of them do not like hurdles, do not like doing hurdles. And if you think about what doing the hurdles really is, honestly, it just makes complete sense because you think about it, you're running as fast as you can, jumping as high as you can, right? And then if you don't make it over the hurdle, whether or not it's because you get tired or timing, I'm not sure. Again, I never did track. For whatever reason, some people hit the hurdles. And imagine you hit your shins, right? And either you keep going, right? Which you're running now through the pain, or although I'm sure the adrenaline does help with that, or you basically face plant into the track. And I'm sure that does not feel great. The reason I want to talk about hurdles is because recently I have been thinking about personal hurdles that we all face. The reason I've been thinking about this a lot is because recently I've been talking a lot about kind of trying to better yourself as a person in a lot of different ways. And I think that's something that applies to us all, but I think I've begun, or today at least, I've been thinking about them a lot as hurdles that we all need to overcome. We all have our own struggles, right? And I think that's something that makes people interesting, to an extent, of course. Um, it's good to struggle to an extent, again, because it helps you grow. Um, just like someone who's saying on the track, first time doing hurdles, you're not going to be as good as your 10th, 20th, 100th time doing hurdles. It's going to be an absolutely incomparable. Um, it's going to be incomparable by any standard. And with that said, if you're trying to get over any hurdle, you know, it's just to say that eventually you will get better at overcoming them. You know what I mean? Sometimes your hurdles aren't just like jumping over one thing to the next. Sometimes it's jumping over the same thing over and over again. And I just wanted to say that because hurdles kind of help you to kind of realize like what you're continuing to struggle with, the things that you're, I guess, in a sense, hitting your shins on over and over again until you really can't like grasp it. I think a lot of the time people don't realize the hurdles that they face are the same things. So I guess that's kind of a big point of me making this video, so that you guys can kind of realize that, and also to understand that there's nothing wrong with failing. You know, you think about it. Even if you've gone over the hurdle 100 times, right, or you're a pro hurdler, we all make mistakes, and sometimes we make mistakes. And obviously, it's not the same as like if someone who's doing it in like the Olympics messed up, but it's kind of just like it's okay to fail at a personal hurdle every once in a while, as long as you get back up again and continue your race, you know. Like I've always said, it's all about enjoying the journey, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's not always easy to enjoy the journey with things in this sense because you think about it, people, I mean, it's only natural. You don't really like confrontation. So when you have to confront yourself and the things that you need to overcome, sometimes it's hard. And it's easy to fail or fall back into habits or whatever you're trying to overcome. You know? And I think I've seen that in myself sometimes. And I guess what I would say the overall lesson of this is just to get back up again, continue your race, and remember that there's always a brighter tomorrow. Um, you mess up today, you come back tomorrow, and you come back better. That's what I've always tried to do, and that's what I would encourage everyone who's watching this to do. Um, Second thing I wanted to talk about is dreams. And I think in a strange way, these dreams and sleeping can help you overcome these hurdles. I think we really just underestimate the importance of resting. You know, I've done it. Literally, I think I got like 6 hours of sleep last night, which again, it's a lot compared to some other people get every night. Um, but for my age range, I'm supposed to be getting like 8 to 10, I think. So I should be going to bed by a certain time every night, but I'm not doing it. And it's kind of just like in that way I'm neglecting myself. And it's almost like if I'm not resting, if I'm not sleeping when I'm supposed to, how am I going to expect myself to come over to be able to jump over these hurdles? You know what I mean? It's kind of like how those track athletes kind of do a carbo load before their race the next day so they can have as much energy as possible. And I think that a lot of people don't take that time to get that rest, to get that mind carbo loading in so that you can really be ready for the next day. Because if you're failing the next day and you didn't change anything about what you did so you could be better the day after, then what are you really doing? Are you really trying to improve? Um, or are you kind of just sticking to the routine that keeps you falling back into what you're doing? Um, Something I'd like to say is that sleep is also important because I feel like the value of dreams is just immeasurable. To be honest, I feel like a lot of people don't realize how important and like reflective our dreams can really be into who we really are. I feel like our dreams kind of just summarize, and I know a lot of people can relate, can kind of reflect what's going on in our lives or what we're feeling, whether that's happiness, rejection, compassion, anything, empathy. Your dreams can really just reflect who you are or how you're feeling in that day. And I feel like if we really hold on to some of our dreams, and that's not to say all dreams are like that, because I know sometimes it feels like I'm having a feverless fever dream because it's almost like I am just in a whole nother like dimension in my dreams because they are just random sometimes. But I truly do believe that every dream has meaning. Your brain does not conjure things randomly, and there's a reason for everything that it's showing you. I think a lot of the time, people, I think the words mitigate their dreams, and they really don't appreciate them as much as they should, simply because it's such like a. I think the average dream is like 6 seconds in total, and it's almost like such a brief moment that you seem to forget it. Even now, I know I've done that because it's like I can't remember like a lot of the dreams I've had, except the really bad ones. And I want to say that nightmares again, they're not really great things to experience, but I think it kind of reflects um, things about us. For example, I think it can reflect things or people that we really care about. In my dreams, I've lost things before, or I have been late to work, or I've lost things that I care about. Um, and yeah, it kind of just reflects the things that are really important to you, especially if something had happened that day. Like I remember the other day, I like to take a nap before I go to work, and those are usually the days the videos come out at night. Um, but uh, I overslept, and I was not late, but it was kind of like um, my dad kind of held me accountable, and it was like this close. And I haven't really been late to work before, not like seriously anyway, maybe a minute or two. But still, I always like to get there 5 minutes early, and it's kind of like I was like, wow, I was like, if you didn't wake me up, I would have been late. Um, so as much as I appreciate my dad for waking up, it was kind of like that night I had a dream, and it was like I was actually like an hour late for work, and I was just like stress just like flooded my mind, and I could not. And needless to say, I didn't get a really great night of sleep. But when I woke up, I kind of realized, all right, yeah, I guess I mean it was kind of like a wake up, like, yo, my job really is important to me, you know, and that's a good thing. You should have a good work ethic like that, um, and I guess I'd be glad to say that it's something that I care about enough to actually have like a response to it, um, yeah. And so dreams can teach you something, and it's important to understand because when dreams really wake up something in you, you kind of get over these hurdles. So I guess in that regard, it's kind of like, oh, okay, I want to improve my work ethic in this way, and to be short, that dream helped me do it, even if it's in the slightest way. So what I would say is try to remember your dreams. Even now, like I said, I can only remember a couple of them, and obviously they're the ones that meant the most to me. But again, I believe that every dream has some sort of meaning. So I would just like to say you should try to remember them. Sometimes they're just fun, they're just interesting, and yeah, I think that's something that um, people should just start doing more. I remember I used to talk about my dreams, whether they were nightmares or just like random. I used to talk about them a lot, and that's what used to help me remember. So yeah, and dreams and rest are just as connected to those hurdles that you're trying to overcome every day. Um, so yeah, thank you guys for watching. That's basically all I want to talk about. Leave a comment if you have any questions, concerns, criticisms. I am open to everything. And yeah, see you guys tomorrow.